Well, I seen and I felt and I heard some things in the spirit. And we're going to talk about a few things. We're not going to be talking about the aliens and the space shuttles tonight, right? The creator wanted to go over this for some reason. So the Immaculate Conception, right? Now, I wasn't even sure if the creator wanted me to talk about this because I got the download maybe a week or so. Yeah, about a week ago. I want to say around a week. And it was kind of like, you know how you get that unction to just like, It was like, But then yesterday, it came back up. Someone actually made a reference. They didn't say the actual words Immaculate Conception, but they said something that basically made reference to it, and it brought it back to mind. And then today it came back up. So the creator's like, okay, go ahead and get into it. And even now that I'm about to still go into this, I don't know why, but this Immaculate Conception, there's this whole debate, right, about if God actually impregnated a woman. And it's so crazy because I learned about the Komodo dragon, I don't know, maybe in the fifth or sixth grade, right? And this is one of quite a few, not quite a few, but a few species that can actually reproduce without having sex, right? And we've talked about the asexual species, right? There are some armadillos, some lizards, some sharks, some ant species, even bacterias, right, that are asexual and they can reproduce without the male. But the creator wanted me to say that it is possible and it is a real thing, and we actually used to know a little bit more about it back then. Not that it was more common, but the knowledge of it was more common back then. Knowing that it is quite possible was more well known and accepted back then. I believe even in, I want to say maybe 2022, I think we did go over cryptic pregnancies. I think we've talked about it. We've like grazed over it. It was connected to a particular topic. I'm not sure of the segment, but it was a while ago. But yeah, the creator wanted me to say that, okay, that it is possible. Okay, moving on. We had a discussion, I want to say maybe 2 months ago, about God's protection versus astral protection, right? You have this protection in your chart, and it's like automatic protection that comes with you and whatever is going on with the ethers when you come into this dimension in this timeline, right? Now, we have been talking about karma and breaking generational cycles and curses and upgrading the bloodline and all of that stuff, okay? The thing is, you have to vibrate high, okay? The more you operate intentionally out of your heart chakra and out of genuinity, the easier it is to break off cycles and curses and patterns and raise the vibration. And you have to be willing to be consistent in that, okay? This is how you connect two different facets of the ethers. Okay, so we talked about, these cosmic cycles and how it ranges from 225 to 250 years. There is no telling how many times we have died and were born again within that cosmic cycle span. Or maybe it is just that. Maybe it is we get to have that one life every 250 years, right? Approximately. Okay? You want to be able to connect to other timelines in this dimension, on this dimension, right? This is how you raise the vibration, meaning tapping in with your ancestors, tapping in with your highest self, as well as your lowest, right? The lowest version of yourself. I always say, your highest version is your ultimate self, right? And if you reach that version of yourself, then you're done, right? You don't have anything else to do. So to me, it makes sense for us to become aware of that version of ourselves, simply to be reminded, but only to allow the higher version of ourselves for this dimension in this timeline to be attracted to our physical bodies, right? Vibrationally and financially. And I'm saying financially because the financial aspect of yourself is connected to your vibration. It is your frequency. It's a currency, right? It's connected to your purpose. How you take care of your family, how you start your businesses, how you assist other people, right? That is connected to the financial version of yourself. So you have to be willing to understand that the parts of you that exist are not just here and now. They're scattered out across different, timelines, across these different aspects, these different facets of the realities in the ethers. If you are vibrating out of the space of the heart, then it will allow you to connect your crown to your sacral and all of the other ports of entry that will make you more conscious and more self-aware, and that will allow you to connect. Okay? There's a lot of different things that we don't know that happens, but when we have certain dreams and certain spiritual experiences and certain encounters with people, it will remind us, right, that we are connected to another aspect of ourselves in a different dimension, because Earth is the dimension, right? So again, that 250-year cycle is the timeline. And even the cycles within that cycle are different timelines, okay? Now, number 3. Balance is needed in everything that exists, right? Everything that the Creator created has an opposite side to it. And that was another thing that made me, as I started writing down the notes, it made me think about how the Immaculate Conception is probably one of the only things that doesn't have balance. There is no opposite side to it, okay? And I think that's what he was trying to highlight, that this is a highly special ordeal, okay? The Immaculate Conception is one of the only things under, or if I would say the only thing under the moon and the sun that doesn't require balance to exist, okay? Now, some people are just meant to wage war and reign, right, in the underworld. It's just their nature. God has different aspects of who he is, and I'm referring to God as a he very lightly, okay? I'm using that term lightly. I would say it, but it's ultimate in a variation of sides of God, right? And we get to experience some of them. We don't get to experience all. But heaven and hell, I would assume, would be the two most polar aspects of the Creator, okay? And there's a whole bunch of stuff in between, right? This is just my take. You can do your own research. I'm actually doing this on an empty stomach, so I'm quite free right now. The downloads came through, and I knew it was important to do this today for some reason. I don't know why, I just knew. But yeah, you have to be willing to realize that God has given the devil dominion over this dimension, okay? And we talked about this, right? A lot of the things we discuss, they come up just to make a point, to make, cross-reference, and that's fine. This is just another way of us making the connection, and just case in point, everything is connected. The Creator created everything that exists, so it makes sense for everything to be connected because we come from the same source. Everything living comes from the same source in every dimension, on every timeline. No matter how much people assume to manipulate or make up different religions and separate ourselves by our actions, right? The things we do, we are connected in multiple ways, okay? The authority that the Creator gave to the devil was to keep that balance, okay? Because if we don't see that and we don't experience that, then we wouldn't even understand the opposite end of that, and vice versa. If we only got to experience heaven and things were all good, we wouldn't get to know what hell is like. We wouldn't know anything about that. So the Creator has a plan, his own plans. We don't understand it. We just exist and fit somewhere in all of that, right? We're just spectacles of this big grand scheme, right, of life. So before I go, I just wanted to make sure we understood that a lot of people are upset with God, and a lot of people are going to be more upset, while some of us are going to be happy or just understanding that there's a balance that needs to be restored. And your vibration is going to determine what side of the balance that you're going to be on, right? And even if you are good and you're vibrating high, you still have to get some of the good and some of the bad. Alright? But I'm going to end it here. I do love you guys. I am hungry. I hope all is well. Y'all are drinking your water, eating your fruit and vegetables, and sipping on your own tea because it is free. Alright, love y'all. Peace.